Today I'm in my greenhouse at home and I'm going to demonstrate potting up a hanging basket. It's that time of year when the garden centres are absolutely bursting with bedding plants, just waiting to be put into tubs, containers and hanging baskets. I'm using our SylvaGrow Tub and Basket, to which I've added some controlled release fertiliser granules. Now, these are far and away the easiest way to keep up with the feeding of tubs and hanging baskets, because these are going to be densely planted. They take a lot of water, so you'll be doing a lot of watering, maybe even every day in hot weather. And it's very easy to leach out some of the fertiliser. So some good controlled release fertiliser granules will help ease the management. Now, when you're working out how much of that controlled release fertiliser to put in, calculate the volume of your container and do it on that basis, because these bedding plants have been grown on, but their compost will be beginning to run out of feed. So when you pop them in, you want the feed to cater for the whole volume, not just the relatively small amount of extra compost that you're using to pad around. My hanging basket is lined here with sphagnum moss. Now, this is a new material that we're researching as a growing medium ingredient for the future, not available in the garden centres yet. But whatever you use as your liner, particularly if you're buying sphagnum moss, do make sure that you're buying it, that it's from a sustainable source and not gathered from the wild. This is farm sphagnum, a product of the future that we're doing some very exciting work on. So also, if you're using a hanging basket, I tend to put a saucer in the bottom, and it just helps keep a little reservoir, again helping with water management. So this is where your own creativity can come into play. I've chosen some pinks and yellows and purples, and literally you start in the middle. I'll just put a small amount of compost in the bottom to get that one going, and then just whatever takes your fancy in terms of colours. I'm not putting things through the sides of the hanging basket this time, because this is a fairly shallow one, but that is something you can do. You can feed lobelia and that kind of thing. Some of these plants that I've chosen are fairly trailing in habit, so they'll do that job for me. Just going to put some of the compost around here, starting that filling in job all the way around. And gradually you just build up your design, remembering that if you're going to be against a wall, then you want everything obviously showing at the front. I've got this lovely double creamy lemony petunia that's very nice. I think that'll go really well with this Lysimachia here. And you can be generous with the amount of plants that you're using. They'll all sort of fight their way into prominence. The bedding plants they want to survive. They're good healthy growers usually. So let's have a bit more of a trailing thing there. This is a lovely dark, don't know what to call that, dark purple verbena, and that I think will go very nicely with this nice lemon petunia. So I'm concentrating my impact, if you like, on the front of the basket, but if yours is going to be visible from all the way around, you can plant it up accordingly. Just keep adding the compost as you go along, and then you'll get this wonderful colourful display. And if you keep up with the watering and the feeding, this basket will take us right through, probably even to the first frost, certainly well into September, by which time you might be ready for a change of scene. But just go around and gradually fill in. The SylvaGrow Tub and Basket is specially formulated to deal with the slightly tougher conditions that we find in the summer months in containers. Lots of heat. These things are generally going to be sitting in a lot of sunshine. So we've got a special water retaining aid in the compost over and above the wetting agent that goes into most of our media, and that just helps to retain the water that you're adding. So when it comes to watering, try not to overdo it. You want to see a little bit of run through out of the bottom, but you don't want gallons of water pouring through because that'll just be taking the nutrients with it. You'll see that I'm sitting my basket in a bucket because that keeps it nice and stable as I'm working away. So gradually now I'm just going to fill in all the gaps. When I take it outside, I'll probably just tap it on the ground to just consolidate, but when you water, that will also help to consolidate the compost and bed everything in. My geranium's just needing a bit of support at the back. So there we are. That was a lovely hanging basket. I'll put that somewhere sunny. I'll give it a good water. I might just pop that one in as well at the back. Just squeeze that in. As I say, you can be generous with the number of plants that you use. Stick that one in. And keep it well watered. Keep an eye on the foliage to make sure it's nice and green. But if you use that controlled release fertiliser, that will help get through the summer. But you can always supplementary feed with some liquid if you have to. But I think that'll be a beautiful basket to take us right through the summer.